some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this is the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Nip Hustle. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
Been hearing the story for years, never heard nobody doubt or deny it about the Dogg Pound trailer getting shot up in New York. Matter of fact, we did a reaction to Daz not too long ago. He mentioned it as a matter of fact, and now C's speaking on it on Art of Dialogue, and I don't know if he's going to confirm it, deny it, but the title seems to suggest that he may not agree with the fact that Biggie had anything to do with it. So we finna check it out. Oh, my mama.
I want to ask you about Snoop. How did y'all first meet? I know he was real cool with Big at one point, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we was fans of their work, man, for what they was doing when they was signed to Death Row. You know what I mean? Dre, the Chronic album, that Snoop album. Those are two life and classic albums that'll ever be stamped in hip hop. And when they was coming to New York, we was going to check them at certain shows. But I think the one real time we really bonded with them, they did the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. They did like a premiere to it or a party to it, and that's the first time I met Snoop. I think Big had probably met him before, but that's the first time where I actually saw them kick it and chop it up, and Snoop was showing Big love, and Big, we were showing them love, all day, and that's the first time I think they really clicked. And then when we did the show, I don't know if you know that Russell Simmons, he did that Def Jam the Show documentary, and Snoop performed on there. You had Wu-Tang on there, Big and Puff performed on there, and that's another time where we sat there and kicked it with Snoop again too, though. But we had like little passes with them where it was nothing but love and respect for each other. You know what I mean? And every time we passed through, it was always respect with us.
Why they never did a record?
It just never came around to it because at that time everything was fresh, and then all of a sudden all the other shit started to fester. You got to think about all that shit was like right behind each other the way, and these albums already done. Snoop album was already out and done. Ready to Die already came out. You know what I mean? But they was trying to make it happen. It was just just moving around and just, I guess, just schedule wise. But they they both respected each other with each other. You know what I mean?
When Snoop and Dogg Pound trailer was shot up, do you remember what Big said on the radio that led to that?
Yeah, I remember, but I don't. It's nothing to really remember. Yeah, I don't even remember the call. I don't even remember the calling. Sometimes I be wanting to ask Angie Martinez about, let me hear it. Let me hear it again. Because I want to hear what it was. But of course we know what happened. What we heard happened. But and I would hear from them sometimes. I heard Snoop talk about it and said, that was the word from Big, and they said that. I was like, yo, listen, that from what I recall, that wasn't nothing with us. But they said that Big said something on the radio like, yo, listen, y'all, it's open market type of thing. Not saying he did it, but basically saying, yo, he put the energy out there for, like, word, y'all let these shoot a video here, which could have been said, but that wasn't nothing that came from our camp. You know what I mean? Like, that didn't come from none of us, and we riding around like really looking for where they at type of thing. Like, that shit wasn't that serious to us in that manner. But I get how they may look at it, saying like, yo, Big was on the radio saying like, yo, there's open market for them. Y'all gonna let them shoot a video in New York? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that'll fuel and rile up, New York City at that time.
Man, that is what it is then. How you gonna have it both ways? It wasn't y'all, but he said that, and that was the reason. It's kind of reminiscent to the Jeezy Gucci situation.
With all that stuff that was going on, but I can sit here and tell you that, like, from our immediate crew and all that wasn't nothing from us, and I never got a chance to tell.
That's cowardice, bro. To say you put the public on it, but before from our immediate circle, come on, homie. Man, that's some real weird, weenie, snaky shit.
That all them that when we're around each other, that's not the type of shit we'll sit down and talk about. I was just on the Rock the Bells cruise with Daz and Corrupt, and we were stuck on the boat for 5 or 6 days, waking up every day, just chilling. But that's something we just kind of like never spoke on, you know what I mean? Or something that just like came and went. But I could sit here and say that was nothing from us, like our crew. It wasn't like somebody had to drop on them and Big, like, yeah, go over there. I just think that was just the energy of just New York once Big probably got on the radio and said something about it, it kind of just, filled the city up, and it probably was somebody there that kind of
So
made that.
what was Big saying it for? What was he hoping to happen? What was he suggesting that somebody should do? Come on, C's, make this make sense. But we can't forget this nigga's a rat, cuz cooperated. I wasn't sure if I was calling it right last time I spoke on it, but y'all came in the comments and confirmed my suspicion. This nigga is boo-boo anyway.
Happened, but that wasn't us sending, that direct message towards them to, create no atmosphere like that. B.I. wasn't on that type of time. You know what I'm saying?
Was you with Big when that happened?
I probably was. Listen, I was with Big 99.9% of the time. You know what I'm saying? But it's times I wasn't there, or it's times, I probably was somewhere else in another room or down the block somewhere. But I don't recall that call though. You know what I'm saying?
We done heard about you. We done heard about you being in another room down the hall, and you and Biggie ended up in the hallway with no clothes at all. I hope Art asked him about some of that bush. What's up with that bush?
You know what I mean? When he called Hot 97, I don't remember that.
Why ain't you Martinez won't release them interviews, yo? I know she got the Tupac interview she never came out with, and you just mentioned a Hot 97 interview by Big that she might got. But I don't get it, yo. Why she not releasing them, yo?
I don't know, dog. And Angie is family, dog. Look, that's my sis. I with Ange heavy. That was the real voice of New York before any and everything. I don't know. I don't know what's the issue. I don't know what's the thing about the Pac interview. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. I don't know why she won't put it out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I love to hear it, like like you would love to hear. I think things like that is like, kind of like classic and immortal things right now, just because of who they are and how long they've been going. At these days, all the feelings is past us about any of that type of stuff. So we won't look at it no way or this and that. But I don't know why. You have to ask her that. But
Yeah, I know she made a comment before about how she don't want to rehash beef and old feelings.
No doubt. Which is respectable, because it's we living in a sensitive / aggressive life right now with just
I don't think she realized everybody involved is 30 years older. So if they were in their 20s, they're in their 50s. If there is ever a time to speak on it, a time like now is such.
The YNs and with just the people like people hold that situation close to them because that hurt the industry, man, when both of them passed. Like, damn near the same year. You know what I mean? Like, some people are still not over that. You know what I mean? So it's still a touchy subject even to this day. You know what I mean? For certain people,
But you being somebody from New York at that time, when that New York video came out, was New York rappers mad about that in real time?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Mobb Deep. They did a response record maybe like a week later, did a song called LA. Like,
rest in peace, my nigga Prodigy. But their response was garbage.
Like, a week later, Nori, Havoc, Prodigy, they was on the record like a week later doing the LA video shoot. Like, you know what I mean? Did a response right away. So yeah, of course, back in them times, most definitely felt the way. You know what I mean? For sure. Us, we wasn't really, we wasn't tripping about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking for real. Like, that just wasn't on our agenda. You know what I mean? You got somebody like a puff in your ear. Of course, you got some street that's with you. That's on some, yo, word. Like, oh, nah, when I see it'll be that's the type of energy, real gangsters was on, not no response records or things like that. But, you have puff in our ear like, yo, we got, we on to a different mission, and let's not feed into that energy type of thing. So we was kind of just like, letting that shit go. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really think no way.
That nigga Puffy wasn't no joke. He was telling everybody, all the rappers, that behind the scene, he pushing buttons, politicking, playing chess, going to war, not trying to get caught up. In the long run, that nigga Puffy was a cold, crafty gangster. A freaky one too, though.
About it, you know what I mean? They didn't say no, it wasn't like no direct shots or names at people, but hip hop is competitive. But oh yeah, New York was definitely mad about it, and Mobb Deep definitely responded, man. R.I.P. the Prodigy.
Was you at the 95 Source Awards?
That was that's the one with the Death Row and Puffy thing? Because I heard They did one the year before that, which that one I don't remember. I guess we definitely went in attendance to that one. But yeah, the 95 when I was there, man, it was shit. That was one of the craziest ghettoist award shows, man, you could probably ever attend in your life, dog. Word up. Like I think about it now, I was like, yo, that shit was different, dog. It was different, man. You had to really be a G to be in that motherfucker, man, or don't even be in that facility. Like it was that. It was that. It was the gangster rap awards, really. You know what I'm saying? Like that was some real shit. Yeah, it was a lot of shit, yo. It was a lot of shit going on. You gotta think about it. That was like really like the first like hip hop award show. You know what I mean? And this is the second year one. You know, it's the second year one, and the energy was different. With all the stuff that was, you know, all the shit that was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got MC Eighth is beefing with DJ Quick. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew it was a Death Row and Bad Boy thing until Suge said that shit that day. Then, you know, we was kind of having a situation with Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Outkast didn't feel like, they wasn't getting the love from New York. It was just a lot of shit going on in there, bro. It was like, you know, real tension with like, you know.
It was tension in the building from a whole lot of directions. I feel what he's saying. That's crazy.
Artists and shit like that, but it was, you know, it was still smooth. You know what I mean? Nobody, you know, by the grace of God, you know, nobody was shot or stabbed that day, but it was, you know, yeah, it was some shit the way shit could have went down in a heartbeat in that motherfucker. Like any given time, something could have went down, but you know, everybody kept their composure. You know,
thank God it didn't, and you were there to witness, because we know what you would have did. You would have had somebody sent up the river with your punk ass.
It was cool, but it was a gangster party in that motherfucker. For real.
What was the crowd reaction to Suge comments?
When he said that, bro. Man, dog, you know, like, and I ain't gonna say, look, we, you know, New York, we don't get like that. It wasn't like super ready to crash out, but it was on some like word, like. But then we don't know why either. You ain't gonna crash out just for no shit. You don't know why. You think logic with shit like why he would say that, or you know, this and that. We didn't really know, but we were just like surprised. It's like, yo, damn, this nigga did this shit in New York too. Like, okay, you know, like shit like that. That shit gotta get situated, like type of thing. And Puff was the one like, yo, nah. We're not on that type of time. We're not going to do that here. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he was really paving the way and creating the energy for the city. And we was them people then. We was really lit. We was popping. And that's kind of like how he brought it to us. Like, yo, like, none of that shit wouldn't be going on if he wasn't who he was. But we're not going to do that here. That ain't going to happen here. And everybody kind of was like, all right, cool. And we just kind of like let it go. But, yeah, you know, the homies, then it's like, yo, like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And Big had to tell a lot of the other homies, like, nah. And everybody respected B.I. because B.I. was the one in charge, and B.I. was really making, you know, he was really making that move and like, you know, really putting the city in New York on his back. And we was really like kind of like, you know, locking in on shit. And he had bigger plans. And he was like, nah, this not the energy we're gonna go. And if Sun say chill, we're gonna chill. And everybody kind of stood down. But yeah, you know, yeah, not just us, but Nick felt the way. A lot of New York rappers felt the way when he did that. It wasn't just us, but you know, Nick was like, oh nah.
Well, we do know about C's. He will get up there and tell exactly what happened on the microphone on my mama. So you take it for what you want, man. He say they didn't have nothing directly to do with it. But this story still seems like that's like trumpeting January 6th. Fuck out of here with that bush.
Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this the short version. You know, get you a couple $, man. You're gonna feel different.
Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.